Well, welcome. I have Nick Cleverov with me. He is the co-founder and chief creative officer of Native Foreign, a Los Angeles-based creative agency and production company renowned for its innovative approach to brand storytelling and design. Welcome, Nick. Glad to have you here.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
I know we met last year, I think, out in San Fran, maybe at a Amen conference, and I have been so excited to get you on the show and have you talk a little bit about your work in AI. I asked one of our creative directors, Van Burnett, to join me and want him to introduce himself.
Hey, Nick, I'm Van. I'm a creative director here. My background is on the copywriting side with plenty of video experience as well. So really cool. Thankful for the opportunity and for you coming on. And yeah, you've got an awesome body of work, and AI seems like it's a convo that pops up like every week in the world
It's
of
dominating, isn't it?
creative. So it'll be really cool to hear from you with your background on it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, Nick, I could read your bio, but I would love for you to start just by telling us a little bit about yourself and your company, Native Foreign, how you sort of came up in the biz. I know you are Emmy nominated. You've done work with amazing shops and have just, awesome accolades. So talk to us a little bit about your story.
I've done a little bit of everything. I've always wanted to be in storytelling and in movies and TV, and lucky to be where I'm at and, have put in the hours certainly in every aspect of the craft, I'd say, from PAing and picking up trash and bringing people coffee to art department to editorial to cinematography to directing to creative directing. So I really like knowing about the different parts of the craft and being able to speak the language with people. And now am a co-founder of Native Foreign, which is a creative agency that does a lot of brand work and brand storytelling, but the AI tools have actually allowed us to recently enter the originals space in a substantive way. So pretty excited.
It's so interesting that you've kind of had unique opportunities in this space. I'm curious, like, how much of those did you seek out actively versus some of these kind of crossed your paths, like working with Sora or the Dolly project with Critters? I mean, I know, Misty, you'll probably get into all these, but just overarching question was, did some of this AI stuff find you, or did you kind of actively go out and look for it?
I've always been a bit of a seeker, so I'm always looking for new things to do and exciting things to do. So the Critters film that we made, we actually pitched it to open early on. We did get access to Dolly, which was, in of itself quite amazing, just being able to make an image out of text.
So tell us the story of Critters. Want to hear kind of how that came about. And, I have circled here that you spearheaded the creative direction. It was an opportunity to start to democratize AI. And I know when I heard you speak, you talked a lot about the importance of iteration in that process. So tell us a little bit more about that first opportunity.
Well, for the longest time, a lot of the software and tools in our industry have been focused on the finished product, the finishing of a project, the 3D, all of the rendering. There have never really been iterative tools
Mm.
before AI. And so the ability to iterate in near finished level work, I think, has really changed the game in so many ways. And that was the big eye opener around Critters was like, holy crap, we just skipped to the end basically of like, okay, we did all this work now let's like have fun now that we're here and we have characters and things. So just like kind of skip to this part, and we're able to put a story together and put a world together so much quicker, which was really exciting. And part of the whole objective was to build, something deeper and bigger than just a short film, which is what we started with because it was what we could wrap our heads around. And so, you know, we took it to the festival circuit, we went around with it just kind of as a test case or case study of what's possible with the tools and what it's allowed a small team like ours to be able to create, knowing that we always wanted to do more. And
Hmm.
so the more part of it is interesting because obviously when Sora was announced, one of the things we wanted to do was remaster it with Sora. And we did do that. So there's a Critters and a Critters Remastered, which in a year and a half difference, I mean, you could actually see how much the technology has evolved. And then we did recently announce that Critters is now becoming a full feature film.
So
And we
cool.
actually, partnered with Vertigo Films out of the UK, and we have the writers of Paddington,
Wow.
Paddington in Peru, Paddington, the animated
That's so
series,
cool.
that are writing the film. And, I got to say, it's amazing to sit down and start reading these drafts of this film that I could imagine myself watching with my 5-year old. And really, the goal is make a good film.
Mm.
It
Yeah.
doesn't matter that it was made with AI.
Sure.
That's the backstory or
Yeah.
the underneath, but it shouldn't be the headline to me. The win will be is if we can make a good film. So out of the 7 artists that were announced initially, I was one of those 7. And, I think everyone had a bit of their own lane and a bit of their own style. And I decided definitely to take the advertising lane. And then I knew that the next step would be to find a partner that's a real brand that
Sure.
actually wanted to like do something. So, and at that time too, I had to kind of get everybody sign off for what would be made. So that is, through just honestly through conversation and through community is how I met the CMO of Toys R Us, through mutual friends and colleagues. And she was into the idea of, really trailblazing with the
Sure.
tools and seeing what would happen. And again, back then, this is pre-image import. So the entire spot was made with just text inputs. And
Wow.
so
Wow.
I have a little behind the scenes piece, which I go through just like the detailed amounts of text. I mean, I got really good at writing at one point, just trying to do this. And also the Sora technology early on was wildly, I don't know if this is because they were still building it or testing it or whatever, but it was just, it was really,
Buggy.
really varied in results. So you
Right.
you would type in almost the same thing and the results will be different sometimes, like wildly different. So it was an exciting time, but also my ratios, I mean, I think some of the ratios were over 1,000 to 1 as
Wow.
far as gens to get to a shot.
My question was, what were the biggest challenges on the prompts? I mean, you mentioned that you've done tons of them, but was there a specific thing that, I mean, you mentioned the giraffe for sure, but in terms of kind of the camera in position, what about emotion on the boy's face? I mean, some of those different things you don't think about probably until you look at it and say, this isn't what was in my mind. So yeah, I would just love to hear you talk about kind of the art of the prompts.
Directing AI actors is pretty funny game because
Did you say please
it,
and thank you was my main question? Okay.
Were you nice?
sure, I'm
Sorry.
polite. I'm absolutely polite, but I did find that organizing your thoughts in a who, what, why, where, when type of strategic methodology and giving a 2 to 3 sentences on each helps. I think some the tools have gotten more efficient since then, and maybe some of that's not necessary. But when I do run into problems now, I fall back on that coming up in the game on just the text to video stuff. You have to be flexible and willing to take some detours than you may be used to get to the end result. And I also feel like the last year we've just been figuring out what the exact workflow is because different projects will require different workflows, different types of creative would actually require different gen tools. It is education in the sense of like, hey, listen, yes, these tools are incredible, but they are not a magic button that you press that makes your thing for you.
Sure.
So what our value is we are that healthy external pushback. We understand your brand, but we're going to push for the best creative and we're going to present that to you. All of those people, the creative directors, the art directors, now AI artists, let's say, instead of designers in some senses, are going to come together and we're going to make these things. Copywriters, right? I mean, all of these, like 70% of the roles still are the same. It's
Right.
just being switched out in some of the ways it's making, or your savings will be like, yeah, this was in a live action shoot. But now you look at it more like a post job, right? Or a design job that you did fully in post, right? A CG or 3D job.
Right.
So there are savings. It is faster, but it's not like it's free.
And the
Mhm.
humans are still so required, right?
So required.